So welcome everyone to this video tutorial on database management system. So we were discussing about ER diagram, and we have seen in the last class that how this 1:1 relationship or many:1 and 1:many relationship exists in ER diagram. So in today's class we will see what is participation constraint in ER diagram. Fine. So the participation constraint specifies whether the existence of an entity depends on its being related to another entity via the relationship type. Okay, this constraint specifies the minimum number of relationship instances that each entity can participate in, and is sometimes called the minimum cardinality ratio. There are two types of participation constraint: total participation and partial participation. So what is total participation is also known as the existent dependency. Okay, so what is total participation? So in total participation, each entity in the entity set must compulsorily participate in at least one relationship instance in the relationship set. Okay, it is also known as the compulsory participation in some books also. And in case of partial participation, each entity in the entity set may or may not participate in the relationship instance in that relationship set. So to better understand what is participation constraint, let us take an example. Okay, so as you can see in the slide, total participation is represented by this double line and partial participation is represented by this single line. Okay, so we have taken example. The example is student enroll in courses. Okay, student enroll in courses. There are two entities, student and course, and the relationship name is enroll. So we can see that from this side that there is total participation, and from this side there is partial participation. So what do you understand from this? That the entity set student is related to course through the enrolled relationship set. Okay, the participation of entity set course in the enrolled relationship set is partial, because a course may or may not have students enroll in it. It is possible that only some of the course entities are related to the student entity set through the enrolled relationship set. For example, if there are some optional courses, it may happen that in some optional courses no student have enrolled. So from this side the participation is partial, because all the course may not have students. But if you see from this side, the participation of entity set student in the enrolled relationship set is total. Why? Because every student is expected to relate to at least one course through the enrolled relationship set. So here the students' participation is compulsory, or we can say that the total participation, because a student has to take at least one course, but a course may not participate in the relationship because in that particular course no student has enrolled. So this is the example of the participation constraints in which total and partial participation exist, where total participation is represented by this double line and partial participation is represented by this single line. Next we will have a look on the entity types. So there can be two entity types in an ER diagram. One is strong entity and another is weak entity. So a strong entity set is an entity set that contains sufficient attributes to uniquely identify all its entities. That means strong entities always have a key attribute. Fine. So in case of weak entity, the weak entity cannot be represented uniquely identified by its own attribute sets. So the meaning is that the weak entity does not have a key attribute, so that we cannot uniquely identify a weak entity. So in other words, a primary key or a key attribute does not exist for a weak entity. So whenever you are going to represent weak entity and strong entity, suppose this particular entity building has a building number, so it is having a key attribute. So using this key attribute we can uniquely identify a building, so it is a strong entity, and strong entity is represented in a single rectangle like the normal entity, and this apartment is a weak entity. So I will tell you why it is a weak entity. An apartment, the weak entity is represented in the form of double rectangle. So always remember that strong entity is represented in the form of single rectangle, and weak entity is represented in the form of double rectangle. Now if you see the ER diagram, so we can see that there is one strong entity building and the other weak entity apartment are related to each other through the relationship has. Okay, why it is a strong entity? Because building is a strong entity, it has building number as its key attribute. Okay, but in the apartment it is having the door number and floor number. Okay, so this is a weak entity because door number alone cannot identify an apartment uniquely, as there may be several other buildings having the same door number. Okay, so this is a weak entity because none of the attribute can uniquely identify this particular entity. So a weak entity can be identified uniquely by considering the primary key of another owner entity type. So whenever we have to uniquely identify this apartment, we have to take the help of this particular entity and this particular attribute. So to identify a particular apartment, we will consider the building number and the door number. Okay, so we will have a composite key which will consist of the building number and the door number. Okay, so this is called weak entity, and this is known as the owner entity, because with the help of the owner entity we can uniquely identify a weak entity. Okay, you have to always remember that the owner entity and the weak entity must participate in an one-to-many relationship. So the relationship is must in the form of one-to-many. So this side one owner and many weak entities. Okay, one owner can have many weak entities. So this is known as the weak entity, and weak entity is identified by the help of the owner entity. Fine. Another important thing in case of weak entity, that weak entity set must have total participation in the identifying relationship set. So from this side you can see that their participation is total from the weak entity side, but from the strong entity side it is always partial participation. But weak entity set must have total participation in the identifying relationship set. So why it is called identifying? Because an weak entity type always has a total participation with respect to the relationship, and whenever the relationship is always connected with the weak entity, we call that relationship as identifying relationship, and we don't represent this identifying relationship as double diamond, whereas a single, you can see single normal relationship represented with a single diamond, and identifying relationship which represented as double lines. So this is the weak entity, this is the strong entity or the owner entity. Okay, so weak entity is always identified by the help of the owner entity with its key attribute. Fine. So this apartment can be identified with the building number and the door number. Okay, and it is having the total participation with the identifying relationship. So why it is called identifying relationship? That the identifying relationship relates a weak entity to its owner entity. So it is known as the identifying relationship. So hope you like this video. Thank you very much.